Rain tapped gently against Era's window, blurring the lights of the city outside. She sat motionless, staring at her phone, at the last message he had sent. "I just need some space." It had been 3 weeks. The space had turned into silence, and silence had begun to sound like an answer. Era had always believed in promises, maybe because Rehan made them sound so real. "I'll never let you cry," he had said once, his hand wrapped around hers under a sky full of fireworks. Back then, she thought forever meant something. Now, forever just felt like a word people used to fill the silence between lies. Her friends had stopped asking how she was. They knew she would just smile and say, "I'm fine." That was her shield, the fake smile, the tired voice, the insistence that she didn't care. But deep down she did. Every night she opened the gallery on her phone and looked at their pictures, the laughs, the long drives, the stupid little fights that ended with, "I love you." One night, she decided to call him. Her hands shook as she pressed the call button, her heart beating too fast for her chest. But he didn't pick up. Not the first time. Not the 5th. Eventually, she stopped trying. That was the moment she realized. Love doesn't always end with a goodbye. Sometimes it just fades until you can't recognize it anymore. She deleted his number, his photos, even his texts. But pain doesn't live in phones. It lives in memories. And hers were too loud to be deleted. Ira started walking every evening, hoping the wind might carry away some of the heaviness she carried inside. The world kept moving. People laughing, traffic blaring, children running. But she moved like a ghost among them, half alive. That night, she looked at the sky again. The same sky that once witnessed her love story. "If love was true," she whispered, "why did it tear me apart?" And in the stillness that followed, she realized the answer wasn't in him. It was in the way she loved. Fully, honestly, selflessly. She was torn, yes. But maybe that meant her love was real. Months passed. Ira had changed. Not completely, but enough. The mirror now reflected a quieter version of her. She still smiled, but her eyes carried stories no one could read. She joined a small design firm downtown, her first job after graduation. It wasn't her dream, but it was something that kept her busy. And busy was better than broken. Her boss, Samir, noticed her silence but never questioned it. He admired her dedication, her attention to detail, her ability to stay calm when everyone else was losing it. "You're tougher than you think," he told her one day. She smiled, a real one, for the first time in months. But nights were different. Nights peeled back the layers she built during the day. Some evenings, she'd find herself sitting by the window again, thinking about the what-ifs. What if Rehan had stayed? What if love had been enough? One evening, while cleaning her closet, she found a small envelope. His letter, written a week before he left. The handwriting still felt familiar. "Ira, if I ever hurt you, know that I didn't mean to. Sometimes people leave not because they stop loving you, but because they don't love themselves enough to stay." She didn't cry this time. She just sat there, reading it over and over. Maybe he was broken too, just differently. Maybe they both were. From that night, something shifted inside her. She stopped waiting for closure. She realized that not every story ends with answers. Some just end. And that's okay. Ira started painting again. The thing she had stopped doing after him. Her canvases were full of cracks, colors colliding and bleeding into each other, much like her own heart. But strangely, the pain looked beautiful when she put it on canvas. One of her paintings, titled "Torn But True," was displayed at a local art show. People admired its depth, its emotion. Someone asked her, "What does it mean?" She smiled softly. "It means that even when you're broken, your truth doesn't die with your pain." A year later, Era stood in front of a mirror, wearing the same color she had worn on her first date with Rehan. Not because she missed him, but because she no longer feared the memory. Life had taken her through storms, but she had learned to dance in the rain. She laughed more now, spoke more freely, and painted with the same heart she once gave away. One morning, she met Rehan again, unexpectedly, at a cafe near her office. He looked surprised to see her. She looked calm. The silence between them was no longer heavy, just quiet. "How have you been?" he asked. "Better," she replied, and she meant it. He smiled faintly. "I always knew you'd be okay." "No," she said gently. "I made myself okay." They talked for a few minutes, about work, life, and everything in between. And then she left, her heart light, her soul steady. That night, she stood by the window again. But this time, she didn't feel alone. The same sky that once witnessed her pain now watched her peace. She whispered, "Maybe love was never meant to stay forever. Maybe it was just meant to teach me how to stay true even when I'm torn." And that's what she did. She stayed true. To her heart, to her pain, to her healing. Because being brave isn't about never breaking. It's about learning how to rebuild yourself from the pieces. Ira was torn, but she was true, and that made her beautiful beyond words.